The leadership style that most resonates with me from Kurt Lowen's leadership styles would have to be the autocratic one because I find myself making decisions without like team input or like consultating on people. It's probably because of um, my past experiences, both in the military and like just regular work in stressful situations where a decision needed to be made that would provide the best or fastest outcome. Um, Not always the fastest is the best, but quick decision making is one of my key qualities, I would say. Though it might affect like others in the way that they might not feel heard or appreciated. Um, I also take from the democratic leadership a little bit because I'm a very creative person. I find myself doing videos or making art or just drawing. Though I'm not a very good drawer, it's just I find new ways, creative ways on how to do things. As like when I was growing up, it was all often called like bullheaded. Oh well, you could do it this way, which is the easiest way, but I wanted to figure out the best way for me. That might not always have been the easiest or fastest way at the beginning, but eventually I came up with it. And from the laissez faire, I often find myself wanting to be like that, um, have that freedom to set schedules or define work. Um, right now, in my current job at Seattle U, I make my own hours and I help students get connected to resources, which is an amazing job in itself, especially dealing with the veteran population. So, I, as an employee, I would love to have that. I know it's not a realistic goal as in you can have that in every job, but eventually if you're your own like boss, you can possibly provide that ability to, give yourself and your employees a little leeway as in how they define their work, whether that is um, clustering care or whether that is take listening to what the parents or what your patient really wants compared to what the care team really wants the patient to do. From the seven leadership characteristics, I would say that my two strength is creating a vision. I find it easy to build or create programs to help others, and they just come up in my head. Like this past year, I helped create a Outreach Eats, which is a program for veterans and first generation students to prevent hunger on campus. And we make them a meal once a week, and they come and they eat, and they get to talk to each other and learn. And it's just these things like pop up in my head, and they eventually come to life because can't like put them down. I would say another one of my strengths is demonstrating my own personal qualities. As I just love to talk about the things I love to do or the things I want to accomplish in my life, and I think this comes across really well in stressful situations because I am able to communicate my weaknesses and I think my past leaders have really liked that I am willing to say, hey, I'm not the best, but I'm willing to try. And I hope to be that as a leader to, be able to set standards and that I'm willing to follow and expect others to follow me as well. Areas to improve on would be working with others. It's been one of my difficulties, and it's probably the lack of asking for help, especially when accomplishing goals. It probably stemmed from like from a young age, spending a lot of time alone, and just growing up in general. It made me realize I couldn't rely on others to get the results that I needed or wanted at the time, which led to a lot of disappointment. So I can definitely improve on working like with others and asking for help when needed. And I think another one of my difficulties would be setting direction when it comes to dealing with others. I'm a self motivator, so if I want something done, I get in the right mindset, whether that's yoga, meditating, just like reading a book, and I get it done. But I find it hard to like entice or encourage others to do those things because there's not in our society, there's not like a reward benefit for them if it's not money or something like that. So you have to find better ways on how to motivate others. And I know like I lack that part of like being a transformational or inspirational leader for others. Of the six emotional leadership styles, I most find a strength or match with align with is the visionary, inspiring towards a common goal, though I can't really get it across, as I've said before. But I that's like the one I really want to become is how to shape the goal of a leader and have that empathy. Some of the other ones that take from would be like how to calm the fears in others and like help during a crisis. And I always try to model what is expected and confidence during these times, and just coming up with the goal, like looking at the big picture when um, trying to get across these challenges, whether that is helping a child overcome their disability of walking, and helping them gait across, or just um, finding a new way for them to deal with stress. One of the biggest things I can definitely improve on is taking criticisms better. I've heard it from multiple professors or even employers that it's kind of been my demise that I don't really take people above me very seriously, or like just don't take their word. And it's not that I don't, it's just that um, I feel like I have accomplished a lot in my life and I don't need to have others tell me what to do. And maybe it's my bullheadedness or how young I am, but I hope to eventually overcome this and grow out of it. Sometimes it's not such a bad thing to have hard to go at things from a hard perspective or at a loss, because you learn more from it. It's just I wish I could get past it. It also comes from my communication skills because I don't listen to others well, their thoughts and opinions. So I think to be a better leader, I would have to essentially learn how to listen to others and take what they're saying seriously so that in the end I can make better changes. As a nurse, I think working with others is probably one of the top three characteristics, as well as delivering the strategy and managing services. If I had to, so working with others probably is the top because you need to work with the healthcare providers, with the OT, PT, just knowing that you're all part of a team and you're all um, working towards the same goal. It goes hand in hand with managing services, which is also key because it's like you're creating a homeostasis of working together and getting closer. And I think that when it comes to nurses managing services, the nurses are like the glue between what is the patient and the medical provider, and is that person that is able to really speak up for the patient, and what they really want when trying to solve this puzzle, which is whether that is the medical diagnosis or taking care of the symptoms. In conclusion, I think my best leadership style or is best shown is the situational leadership, mostly due to my flexibility to change during certain situations. Uh, I find myself all being very authoritative, coercive, not very democratic, but very pace setting when it comes to these things. You know, the ability to think through problems and identify a challenge and then create a goal and how to solve it, whether it is that is by myself. I'm not very good at coaching others, but I think it's one of the things I can grow on. When it comes to pace setting, I can set high expectations that I am willing to follow, and I expect others to follow, and that comes from being highly motivated myself.